A while back, Gene Wilder died, and that prompted me to read a book he'd written, and I did one of these about that. And while I was doing that, thinking about Gene Wilder, which was not his birth name, I began to think about Billy Wilder, which was his name, the Wilder part of it anyway. I got a hold of two books about Billy Wilder. A book of interviews conducted from between 1950 and on into the 1970s, and a truly unusual volume, a series of interviews with Wilder while he was in his 90s, written by the movie director Cameron Crowe. Billy Wilder is partly responsible for Double Indemnity, The Lost Weekend, Sunset Boulevard, and Stalag 17, Some Like It Hot, and many more. His last attempts may have been relatively tepid and not so well received, but as he once said, what good is it being a marvelous composer of polkas when nobody dances the polka anymore? Wilder was proudly, defiantly unorthodox, which explains his attraction for stories with a twist built right into their core. For example, Some Like It Hot or Witness for the Prosecution, taken from the work of the twist master, Agatha Christie. Wilder had a penchant for working on oddities. He liked them. He was one. He was called a cynic. That can be explained, I think, by removing a Jew from Berlin in 1933 with the rise of the Nazi Party and transporting him to Hollywood, California. What a cultural swap that was. Wilder was tough, brash, self-made. He learned English by listening to the radio, helped write 2 movies for Ernst Lubitsch, then wrote, always with a collaborator, his own movies, which he began directing. I thought I should watch one of his pictures, and I chose The Apartment, partly because I had not seen it before, and partly because it brought Wilder 3 Oscars, for writing, direction, and producing. Jack Lemmon stars in the picture, playing a schnook. He works for an insurance giant. Wilder created a wonderful set, a huge corporate warren for the 19th floor. Upper managers in the company begin using Lemmon's apartment for rendezvous, romantic assignations, trysts. Ultimately, the top brass of the company, played by Fred MacMurray, starts to use the apartment, and Lemmon is promoted. He gets his own office. He's sweet on the elevator girl, but finds out that's the person MacMurray is seeing. MacMurray plays a true shitheel, promising his love, promising that, this time, he really will get a divorce. The story is exactly the same as The Wolf of Wall Street, except Wolf is completely explicit, where Wilder insinuates, and the protagonist in Wolf, as you might expect, is a beast, while the apartment is inhabited by an everyman, a pussycat, or, as the movie would have it, a human being. The elevator girl, played by Shirley MacLaine, learns at the corporate Christmas party from the boss's drunken secretary that she is the latest in a very long line of gals. The boss has an appetite for gals. Left alone in the apartment because the boss has to go home to his family so he can be with them on Christmas Eve, MacLaine spots a bottle of sleeping pills and tries to kill herself. Lemmon finds her, and with the help of his neighbors, a Jewish doctor and his wife, revives her. The screenplay is an intricate machine. The secretary spills the truth to the boss's wife, and she files for divorce, so now the boss really can say that his marriage is over, and he is free to make love to the elevator girl. Lemmon is crushed. But MacLaine sees through the boss, realizes it is Lemmon who loves her, and she goes to him. He tells her it's true, he loves her, he adores her, and characteristic of Wilder, she has the last line, shut up and deal. Because of this movie, I want to punch Billy Wilder in the nose, and I'm telling you why. I can also show in some detail exactly how he operates, what he would call structure. He was very big on structure. Trying to comfort McLean following her suicide attempt, Lemon says that he was broken-hearted once too, and he also tried to kill himself. He got a gun, was sitting in his car, and was trying to figure out how to do it. Shoot himself in the head, in the mouth, or through the heart. He's thinking this over when a cop surprised him, and trying to hide the gun, he shot himself in the knee. It's such a goofy story, we are tempted to think he made it up to help her, and she accuses him of that, but he insists it's true. Near the end, when he's packing his stuff up in the apartment, after quitting his cushy job as the assistant to the boss, we see him with a gun, which he considers and drops in a sack. When McLean is running to him at the end, as she reaches his floor, we hear a gunshot. She screams and pounds on his door, crying. He opens it, holding a bubbling bottle of champagne. It's New Year's Eve, so that was the explosion. No, Billy, born Samuel, it wasn't. A gunshot is not like the pop of a champagne cork, not in this life, not even in the movies. That bit of structure was a cheat, some misdirection, a bad piece of work, not what I'd expect from a 3-Oscar man.